Hey, I'm Chase, and this is All Things Random. Today, we're talking about the ROCOS Nautilus. Now, the ROCOS is a Patek Philippe Nautilus Homage that I picked up from Amazon last week. Now, I ordered it through Amazon Prime, and it got here literally today. So I wanted to do an unboxing and a quick review. Now, I am going to be comparing this with the Feast Royal Oak and the Parnas Yachtmaster as a sort of alternative luxury series of watches. After that, this ROCOS, the Feast, and the Parnas is all going to be up on eBay to sell because I just do not need another watch. Rather give it to you guys at a discount. Now let's just flip the camera around and dive right into the review. Now here is how the ROCOS Nautilus comes. Now I haven't even opened this up. I have my gloves on because I don't want to get any fingerprints on it while I'm first unboxing it. So it came just like this in an Amazon box with nothing else. Now this was actually just like that when it came, just sort of off. So we're just gonna peel that completely off because that is meaningless to what we're looking at inside. So inside does have a small booklet, The World of ROCOS Watches. Hey, thank you so much for choosing us. Well, you're welcome. Now here's the watch itself. Let's get rid of this. Let's take a closer look at this watch. Now let's unpeel everything first. Here it is, completely unwrapped. Now to me, this is not a bad looking watch. My first impressions, especially when it comes to the dial, is just like the Feast. I mean, it's pretty intricately detailed for the price this watch is. Now again, let's go over the dimensions now that the watch is in the hand. Now it is 40 millimeters in diameter. It does have a case thickness of 12 millimeters. The band does start at 26, tapers down to 16 in a butterfly style clasp. If you're a fan of the channel, you know that I hate butterfly clasps with a passion. However, these links are extremely small. They are push pin links. They're not screw links. So that to me is slightly depressing because at least the Feast was a screw link, but they are pretty small. So it should be adjusted to your wrist relatively easily. Now it does have a brushed and polished finish on the actual case. You can see that there is polish around the bezel. Then it does have a horizontal brushing along the top. And then you'll see there is polished and then brushed, polished and brushed, sort of like the original Nautilus. However, this is a fraction of the price. Now again, it does have a 20 joule automatic movement, which I honestly think they should have used a solid case back. Look at how ugly that movement is. Now some people would probably like to see the movement inside. However, they would have been better to just have a solid case back. This is extremely hideous. Now it does look like it beats at 21,600 beats per hour. You can tell that the second hand is not quite smooth like the 28,800, but it's also not slow like the 18,000. So I would say probably 21,600, which is not a bad beat movement, but it's not high beat by any means. Now let's talk about the movement itself and its functionality. So it does not have a screw down crown. Now it still has this blue sticker on that I'm just going to leave, but you can see that it does have a signed R crown. So no screw down crown. Okay. All right, so first issue that I have with this watch is when you pull it out once for the crown, when you pull it out once for the quick date, it's not adjusting the date. It's getting stuck and it's bouncing back. Well, let's just take this all the way around and let's see what the actual date function looks like. So it does click over at least when you hit the 12 o'clock midnight position. However, seems like there is a manufacturer defect with that date. It won't allow me to quick change it. Oh, it will now. Okay, so maybe it was just that one spot. Little disappointing right off the bat because $200 for a watch, even an homage watch, $200 for an automatic watch is not cheap by any means. And I say that because you could buy the Seiko SNK 805, that's an automatic watch, and there's not going to be an issue on the day-date function of it. So that is a little disappointing right off the bat. Let's just zoom in and take some closer look with the camera. Now, a closer look at the dial does show you the details, and I always say the devil is in the details. And actually, for a watch that's under $200 with this type of ridging on the dial is actually pretty good. I would say it's not a quality watch that's $1,000, but it's definitely quality that I think hits just above the price range. Now, honestly, even something like the date window, I think they actually did a pretty good job. That date is centered within the box. The printing is not too bad. I'd give it probably a 7 out of 10 on the printing. However, I've seen far worse. I think that they did a pretty good job. Even the edging around the box is not overly done, and it's pretty nice to see. And here is the movement up close. Again, nothing to write home about. I honestly think they would have done a better job just leaving you a sterile case back because, I mean, a selling point may be an open case back, but I just don't think that this is worth the open case back. It is harsh on the brushing. It's very sterile when it comes to any type of design or any type of finishing on it. And I mean, it does function as an automatic watch, and some people may like to see it, but I think they're really doing themselves a disservice by having an open case back on this movement. Again, not really sure what movement. 20 jewel, it does offer hacking and hand winding, so if you guys know what it is, leave a comment down below. All in all, honestly, I don't think this is a terrible looking watch. And of course, it wouldn't be a terrible looking watch because it's a direct homage from the Patek Philippe Nautilus. Is that a bad thing? No. I tell people all the time, I really don't care if it's an homage watch. I don't think they do a bad job here. They do have brushing and polishing where it needs to be, and it's actually not too terrible. You can see that even on the bracelet here. The center links are polished. They are covered by a link that is brushed, and then along the outside, it's polished along the edges, and then brushed again along the outside. So it does offer a pretty nice finish for the price point. I think that you could do a lot worse. Now, when I found this on Amazon, one of the things that really caught my eye was the fact that they didn't just leave a logo off like Parnas does on some of their watches, but they also didn't overly clutter it with writing because it just is not necessary. ROCOS, since 1919, they probably didn't even have to put that. They could have put ROCOS Automatic and it probably would have been even better, or even just ROCOS with some sort of logo or design. I mean, they do have a logo of a lion with a crown, so they could have used that instead, but they didn't. They chose just since 1919. So these are just little nitpicky things. Again, push pins. Let's take out a couple pins and fit it to my wrist. Now, all in all, not a bad looking watch. I popped off 3 links and it fits very well on my wrist. You can see that there's a sunburst effect going on that ridge dial. I think it looks just amazing. Again, $190 for this watch, free Amazon Prime. Don't think that's too bad to pay. The Parnas Homage is $120 on eBay, and that's straight from China. So most people are willing to pay just a little extra to be able to have something within a week. This is why I like homage watches, because if you like the style, I will never, ever own a Patek Philippe Nautilus. I know, because there's other things I'd rather spend $20,000 on than a steel watch. I would rather spend that $20,000 and go to the Bahamas. So it's just not in my price range, and I will never be rich by any imagination. I'm not an idiot. But if I like the look of the watch, I don't mind this at all. I think it fits very well at 12 millimeters high. Fits slim, so it'll go underneath any cuff. Also, it is a sports style watch like Patek Philippe designed it, so it would look good in either a suit or it would look good in something like a polo and shorts. So what are my final thoughts and issues with this watch? Well, you could see that I had some issues with the date change function. However, once I moved past the 25 and 26, it never happened again. So I don't know if it was just some sort of defect that happened during shipping. I'm just unsure, but it hasn't happened since. I don't like the open case back. I think it should have been a sterile case back. I think that was a big mistake on their part and a poor selling point, because just because it's an automatic doesn't mean you want to look at a Honda Civic engine, right? It's not a Ferrari engine. It's not decorated like a Ferrari or a Corvette engine. It's a Honda four-banger, and it's not dressed up at all. Close the hood on that. Nobody wants to see it. Other than that, I think they did a pretty good job on the dial. I like the applied indices. I like the brushing. It is a little harsh on the brushing. However, it's not overly harsh. A lot of times in this price point, things will be cut where they shouldn't be cut. And you know what? Honestly, the finishing on this watch is not bad at all. I think they actually did a pretty good job. Now again, I would say this watch is a good 7 out of 10. Not a bad looking watch. In fact, I was wearing it today while I was driving around, and I like it far better than I do the Feast. I mean, maybe it's because it has softer lines and curves, and it just doesn't feel as aggressive as the AP Homage that I reviewed, the Feast Royal Oak. Now, if you like videos like this, hit that subscribe button down below. Leave a comment of the content you guys would like to see on this channel. Check out the eBay link below. I am posting watches constantly for sale. Basically, anything I review is going to be put up to sell on my eBay account. So hit that link down below if you guys are interested, and hit that notification bell because I got videos coming out all the time. Until next time.